So when you think Minotaur, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably this, right? A huge, terrifying monster with the head of a bull stuck in a maze. It's one of the most iconic monsters ever. But what if the real story isn't about the monster at all? What if it's about how it got there in the first place?
All right, let's just jump right in with a question that kind of flips this whole myth on its head. What if the Minotaur, this creature we see as the ultimate symbol of terror, isn't the real monster in the story? What if it's just the symptom, the final, horrifying result of a problem that started way, way earlier?
See, to really get this, we've got to rewind. We have to go back to the beginning. And this story doesn't kick off with a roar in a dark maze. Nope. It starts with a king, a powerful god, and a really, really bad decision. A decision that was all about one thing: pride.
Now, the ancient Greeks had a fantastic word for this kind of out-of-control pride. They called it hubris. And this isn't just, being a bit cocky. Hubris is when you think you're so special that the rules, even the rules of the gods, don't apply to you. And let me tell you, in any Greek myth, whenever you see hubris, you just know disaster is right around the corner. It's like the ultimate foreshadowing.
And this is the moment it all goes sideways. So here's the deal. King Minos of Crete gets this incredible gift from Poseidon, the god of the sea. It's a stunning, perfect white bull. The instructions couldn't be clearer. Sacrifice this bull to me to show your respect. Simple, right? But Minos gets greedy. That hubris kicks in. He looks at this amazing animal and thinks, wow, no way am I giving this up. So he keeps the perfect bull for his own herd and sacrifices some regular, lesser bull instead. He literally thought he could trick a god.
Yeah, Poseidon noticed. Of course he did. But he doesn't just, strike Minos down with a lightning bolt. No, his revenge is way more clever, way more twisted. See, there's this theme in these stories. When you break a natural law, the punishment fits the crime. The consequence is something just as unnatural, and often something monstrous. And this is where it gets really dark. The true cruelty of Poseidon's revenge is that Minos doesn't pay the price directly. Oh no, the punishment is inflicted on his wife, Queen Pasiphae. Poseidon curses her with a grotesque, unnatural love for that very same white bull. It's just horrifying, and it's such a powerful symbol for how our own bad decisions, our pride, can end up creating absolute nightmares for the people around us.
Okay, so let's just map this out. It's a perfect chain reaction of disaster. Step 1. Hubris. A king thinks he's smarter than a god. Step 2. The curse. The god gets his revenge by twisting nature itself. Step 3. The result. From that cursed union, the Minotaur is born, this walking, breathing symbol of the king's shameful secret. And what's step 4? The cover-up. Because what do you do with a monster born from your own terrible mistake? You try to hide it.
And that cover-up? Well, that's the famous labyrinth. This was no simple jail. It was a bewildering place of shadows and confusing echoes, a domain where the monster didn't even need its eyes to hunt. It just felt the fear, the vibrations of its prey getting lost in the dark. But the labyrinth is also something more. It's a perfect metaphor for denial. It is a massive, complex system you build to avoid facing a monster that you created.
Yeah, just listen to this. The labyrinth symbolizes the complex and often self-imposed prisons we construct to hide or manage the consequences of our actions. That just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? These are prisons we build for ourselves, to trap ourselves inside with our own secrets.
So think about what that really means in our own lives. The labyrinth, it's all those complicated excuses we make, the endless distractions we create to avoid dealing with a hard truth. It's when we try to manage a problem instead of just, solving it. And the longer we do it, the deeper we get into our own maze, the more tangled up the problem gets, and the more impossible it feels to ever escape.
So why are we still talking about this? Why does this thousands of years old story about a monster in a maze still hit so hard today? Well, it's pretty simple. It's not really a story about ancient kings and gods. It's a story about us.
At its core, this whole thing is a giant warning label. It's telling us that our own pride, that feeling that we're the exception to the rule, can literally give birth to monsters. Now, they're probably not going to have horns and a snout, right? But they're monsters nonetheless. They could be toxic habits, huge societal problems, or just deep personal secrets that we're constantly feeding, just like those poor souls sacrificed to the Minotaur in the maze.
And that leaves us with a pretty tough question to chew on, doesn't it? The myth is basically holding up a mirror to us and asking, hey, what about you? What monsters have we created through our own actions? And maybe the most important question of all, what complex, twisting labyrinths are we building right now, not to solve those problems, but just to keep them hidden from sight?